Hey guys, how's it going? Gonna do some Giants B10 testing today. Um, Using some traditional teams and whatnot, just so you can kind of figure out what you want to do. This is my go-to team. I realize not everybody has Ritash or anything like that, but I'll just play through it real quick. And that way you can see what's going on. So I've got a good bit of other units I can use, but this right now is my go-to team. I'll let it play through, show you how long it takes. By no means is this a fast team, but if you have someone that'll, or a team that can work and do it, you know, upwards of 95% of the time, then I think it's a good team. Ideally you want to be doing it in about a minute and a half or less, but you know what, I don't refresh Giants very often. So anyway, what makes this team work pretty well, believe it or not, with all of the elements in here, Shannon really holds this team together. I've tried it with a few other people, including Jasoon and Chloe. Chloe was kind of whatever because she's fire type, but I had just gotten her recently. And my dog is sitting here beside me snoring. I don't know if you guys are picking that up. Anyway, yeah, I tried Chloe because she was new. I've been playing a year and just got Chloe not very long ago. But anyway, Shannon really holds his team together. It's because of the defense buff, the slow, and the glancing. All of them put together. It has to be all of them put together because I've tried it with a couple other things like Emma. I've tried to put her in there. What I found was that the glancing and the defense buff, it worked, but it wasn't great because my team isn't very fast. I've got a slow Mars. My Bella, I had to slow him down. So anyway, I think the slow down on the boss really helps. Got Ritesh, he has another defense break and a heal, but he really can be pretty much anything. He's a minor damage dealer. So as you can see, that was like 2.6 thousand or something. It's nothing great. Theo's the real damage dealer here. Vero, given some extra HP because my Bella and Theo are relatively squishy. Shannon, you can see she's not taking a whole lot of damage because she actually has defense on slot 6. Theo also helps to stack those dots, so it works pretty well. Also, Theo is on Rage Blade, not violent, not revenge, not anything like that. So don't feel like you have to have violent runs to make anything work. Summoning Stone's pretty much useless at this point. So let's switch things up. Extremely slow, but still working team. 177. Very slow Bernard. And he's pretty crappy. Not even max skilled. Look at this crap. But, oh well. Anyway, this is a go-to team for a lot of people. Alright, attempt number 2. Things went horribly wrong at the first one. Had an awful string of luck. Bella was taken out from the very first hit. A giant crit on my Bella with an attack buff, no glancing. I didn't have a shield on. It was awful. But that's the nature of Giants and Dragons. Things do go wrong. There's no team That's going to be 100% without bringing in double revive. That's my theory. I haven't seen a single team that hasn't lost once or twice. You can go talk to Nick the Greek. He talks about it. He likes to call it. I likes to say that sometimes the dragon or the giants just PMS him. You know, shit happens. It goes crazy sometimes. So one of the things for this team is my Casis is not actually on Despair, as a lot of people do, for these stuns like you just saw. Well, Barrow or Shannon is the one that stunned. That was my point. It's not a Casis. She does have an AoE, so it would be nice to have Despair on her, but for the purposes of this team, I just had her as Swift. I just want her going as much as possible, which is not much because I think 2, 4, and 6 on her are all HP, so she's not fast at all. Has like maybe 140 speed, if that. So yeah, all my stuns are coming from Veramos' second skill or Shannon on the spare rooms. I don't remember what all I said in the first take of this. Like I said, I'm having to redo this run because I just had horrible luck, which is always going to happen when I'm recording. That seems to be the way it goes. But let's see, Veramos on here for stuns on the way to the boss, to remove the defense break and attack break that get put on you. Or no attack break in this one. It's an attack buff gets put on the giant. So he removes that defense break. Any dots, he stuns on the way to the giant. Bella, as always, is in here. Gets stunned apparently. For the heal with the attack bar buff, the first turn defense break, and the C's to remove the attack buff from the giant. Casis is in here for mostly for shield, but her second skill does have a small heal on it, and the first skill dots. Shannon, as always, defense buff, attack buff, slow, AoE slow, and first skill glancing. Bernard, the usual, speed buff with an attack break and defense break. So that's why everybody's here. Hopefully it works out this time. And with this team, what I do like to do is go ahead and get it set up, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to use Vero to try and dot. I'm going to attack break and defense break. Well, no defense break on this one. Defense break. Going to try to dot. We're going to slow. Dot again. Going to speed buff. Who don't want to take the hit? I'll go ahead and let Bella tank this. Okay. And now we're going to put on her shield. Try and get us glancing. Alright. Another dot. Use Bernard to hit the tower, so not to stack up his counter. Well, of course, my revenge runes would proc. Okay, Bella, go ahead and seize that off, why don't you? And you're gonna miss it. Like I said, Bella sucks. Giant pile of crap. Dot. No dots. Attack break, defense break, we're already on. Gonna go over here. Defense buff, attack buff, 3 turns, really nice. Going to use this just to boost my attack bar. I don't actually need the heal. A dot. Try and set these to 2 turns. Okay, both of them landed. Dot. Thank you. The case is finally. Try and land the slow on everybody again because this tower is about to move. And I believe from here we should be good to go. Now for anyone wondering or curious that doesn't know this already, these effects up here, you can only get 10. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So one more and he'll be capped out. And I don't actually remember if that counts for both of them. If it's a total cumulative amount for beneficial effects and negative effects, or if it's just like 10 of each. But I believe it's a total. So if he has his attack buff on, you can only stack 9 harmful effects, which isn't really a big deal. Because 9 is usually enough. As you can see, the giant goes down pretty easily. And yeah, Cases is 5 stars, so Giant's 10, you don't need all 6 stars. Well, of course, it's going to give me a crappy run on camera. Alright, so time for my next team. What I'm going to do for this one is something kind of fun. Put in Ramagos instead. And let's see what else I can do. Yeah, my mouse clicks, I know, don't judge me. Let's see. And I will do... Instead of Shannon, let's go with Almond, who does have 100% crit rate. Very low speed, crappy health, but halfway decent because he's only 5 stars. And he's not violent. I believe he's like energy blade, maybe, I think. So we'll go ahead and try out this team and see what happens. And yeah, I use Verimoss a lot in these. It just makes things infinitely easier. I know some people may not have Verimoss, but I really think that if you're going for Giants 10, you probably already do. And if not, you should. I mean, you should be one of the very first things that you try to do in this game. Just because he makes everything easier. I wouldn't say he's necessary for Dragons 10, but he makes life so much easier that you would probably consider him necessary. I consider him necessary for my teams because I don't have anybody that's really great. Like Konamaya is one of the people that used to be used for dragons. I mean, but mine's at 5 stars with really bad runes right now, just because I never use him. He can be great. Because he does have a small heal, he purges all the debuffs and things like that. His AI isn't terrible. It does try to use Resurge on himself a lot, so when he uses Resurge, he gets 2 turns. So his cleanse is back up again. This team also has some pretty good synergy because Pharaoh has the leader skill. For HP, it's like 33% or something. I don't remember exactly. So that's going to help out my Almond's heals, and it's going to help out Ramagos, because, you know, with Clean Shot, he does however much damage he's taken. So, like, you know, if he has 32,000 health like mine does, but I'm not counting the Verimoss leader skill right now. If he has 32,000 health, and he has taken 20,000 damage, he's going to do 20,000 damage. And it doesn't matter how much health he actually has, but I'm just saying that mine has 32, so he could theoretically take, you know, 31,000, almost 32,000 damage and dish all of that back out. Not worrying about defense or glancing, anything like that. No defense buffs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he gets attack broken or whatever, he's going to do pure damage. The only setback with Ramagos, as far as I know, is actually a light 3-star unit by his name is Grago. A lot of high-end people have him, but his passive actually makes it so that he can't lose more than 1/5 of his health in a single hit. So Clean Shot doesn't do anything with Grago. But other than that, it's always going to be pure damage. See, Almond is really good on violent. I wish I had the runes to go ahead and make him violent right now, but this is working. It's not bad. I do miss the defense buff and the glancing and the slow from Shannon, but with the double healers, it should work out pretty well. For anybody that maybe doesn't want the 6-star Shannon, because she does need to be 6-starred, I feel, in like 99% of cases. She's not too. Her base defense is just, it's pitiful. I mean, being in that too, yeah, it's gonna be low, but it's sad how low it is. Boom. Again, I'm not sure if I said this already. This Almond does have 100% crit rate. 100%. Kind of slurred there a little bit, but anyway, so yeah, he's always going to crit. That's super important, guys. Any low levels that are watching this, because I don't see why a high level would be watching it, but anyway, my low level players watching this, crit rate is deceptive. If it's not 100%, it's not going to be anything higher than 80. And what I mean by that is if you have 95% crit rate on your Almond, no you don't. There's no easier way to say it. No you don't. Like the way crit rate works is if you don't have 100% crit rate, they have to put in room for, jeez, look at this. They have to put in room for normal hits, for glancing hits, for crushing hits, all of that stuff. And from what I've seen, it basically lowers you down from, like if you had 99%, it basically drops you down to 80, no matter what. The only exception to this is having 85% crit rate and fighting your opposing type, the one that you're stronger against. So like, not a great rune, but I could use the speed. So you're, like, this one's light, okay? So if I dropped him down to 85% crit rate, he will have 100% crit rate against Dark, because he's strong against Dark. If it was a fire person, you know, with 85% crit rate, it would be 100% against wind, because elemental advantage gives you an extra 15% crit rate. So let's try my Dragon's team and see what happens. This team can do Dragon's 10. Who else do I use in here? Use a bear to heal. I don't want to use bear to heal. He's fire type. So let's go ahead and instead do Shannon. And I'll take out Emma actually for something a little bit more common for you guys. Let's see. Took some of her runes. I'm not sure I even have anything else in here I can use as a healer. That is my new play toy. Yeah. Let's see what else I can do. I can do a fun team. Well, let's try this. Be an extra healer with a defense buff. This guy right here, he does dots, and he can steal buffs. So he's a secondary buff stripper. But he can be anything, like any extra daughter. Most common one for Giants 10 for extra dots are either going to be Orochi if you have him, or the Wind Viking. Works really well. You can also use this if you happen to have one, and I'll try to run with him next, but I think he's actually missing a couple of runes now, so I'm not sure he'll make it. But I'll go ahead and try him out just to see what happens. So let's try this first. I don't even remember if Talkir has all of his runes. I seem to remember taking one off of him. But he has a very useful passive. If if the damage dealt is less than 1/5 of his maximum HP, it will be reduced by half. So, let's say someone is going to be doing 1/8 of his HP, just because it's a nice easy number, the incoming damage will be reduced to 1/16 of his health. So, it's, you know, it works out pretty well if you can stack him with a good bit of HP and defense, because I really think there needs to be some synergy there for his passive to really work. It works out pretty well. If you're going to build him, you definitely want some resistance on him too, because if he gets defense broken, then it's really easy to do more than 1/5 of his total health. You can also give him some decent accuracy, because his first skill can provoke, which would draw fire, and it keeps people from using their other skills, so they can only do their first skill and only hit him. So if you provoke a fire person, you basically have like a full survival rate, because most fire people are going to do like glancing, or at least just not crit on him, so they're not going to do a whole lot of damage, and so his passive is really going to come into play a lot. You can see it like right there, the trained skin passive means they're doing less than 1/5 of his maximum health, and he is reducing the damage. Polar Roar is his second skill, the one that heals and defense buffs, and it's nothing great. The heal really isn't anything worth mentioning, but that defense buff though really comes in handy. Sorry about that, got a frog in my throat today. Let's see, Azure here. I'm not actually sure how his name is pronounced, so don't laugh at me if anybody does know. I assume it's some kind of weird Scandinavian thing, since he looks like Odin, and it's probably like Aegir or something like that. But anyway, he's built for dragons, so he actually has really good accuracy for an attacker. It's like, I think, getting up on 70%. I may have dropped it down to about 60. I don't remember. I think I took one of his runes. He does have a full rune set now. He is Violent Nemesis, because I like him to get as many turns as possible, because he does that, which is super important and was poorly timed on this. But for dragons, super important to try and steal that immunity. He does have an HP rune. He's attack HP attack right now. Violent Nemesis, like I said. Good. Of course, everything seems to go wrong while I'm doing this on camera, but look at all these dots. I mean, what's not to love about this? He should actually die as soon as he gets another turn. You saw the Nemesis proc. Or if you can even call it a proc, I guess it's just the Nemesis effect. But anyway, yep, so there was that. Pretty good team to use, throwing dots off like crazy. Like I said, you can use the Wind Viking instead of the Barbaric King. Despair. Minimum roll on accuracy though. Let's see what happens to it. Talc was only 5 stars. He's not great right now. I don't have him built well. I think he's missing a rune. Things like that. Let's see, can we do anything else that's fun? The Wind Barbaric King would actually be better for this. He's a damage dealer. He can do pretty decent damage. The second skill brands, like with all of them, I think. Or maybe the fire one doesn't have a brand. But the water and the wind ones do, which increases damage by 25%. It's pretty nice. And he's wind, so he will stand a much better chance in this dungeon. He will land his dots more often. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I do this. Do a speed leader. This can be Beretta. My Beretta I actually sacrificed a while back, so my new one doesn't have very good runes, and he's not awakened. So I'll just use Tyrant. It's the same speed lead. And he has 2 AoEs on Despair, so that's why what I'm using him as. He's not a damage dealer like a lot of people do their Tyrants. And we'll do, let's see, we'll do a lot of lower players have. Oh, I keep going back this way. We will do, he's another 5-star. Yeah, why not? We'll go ahead and build him. He's a 3-star that you can get from unknown scrolls, anything like that. Halfway decent amount of health. He's got some decent accuracy, I believe. Low speed, very, very low speed. But let's go ahead and try this out. I'm not using Veramos as the leader, so we can kind of show that off a little bit and get some extra speed in there to help out. Let's give this one a shot. Oh, I'm not sure I mentioned this before, but you want to use, using Namib, the mummy here, the wind mummy, because his first skill puts on dots, and his passive actually puts on dots as well. So he's pretty handy to have. Let me see if I can. You're returning for that. Okay. Let's see you. Wild rocks, of course. Okay. Text enemy 2 times, each having a 20% chance to inflict continuous damage for 1 turn. So it's a low chance, and it's only 1 turn, but it's an HP scaling attack. So just stack him with a bunch of HP and some accuracy, and call it good. I actually have him, I think he's Violent Revenge right now, to try and get this first skill off some more. And this skill is kind of useless right now until you stack him with lots and lots of health. It is kind of a worthless skill. And then his passive becomes immune to continuous damage, so he's pretty good in like Dragons 8 and 9. And when being attacked, the attacker will suffer continuous damage for 1 turn. So his passive can put on the dots. So he's pretty good. I definitely recommend building him when you're trying to get a team going, just to help stack those dots. The more dots you put on, the faster the runs will be, and actually the easier, because as you've seen from a lot of these runs, people have died, my 5-star monsters and whatnot. The team works, but I usually lose some people. So stacking those dots on, as long as you have 1 person that's surviving, those dots are going to go and you can still win the round. Puppy just woke up, he wants to play now. Chewing on my fingers. Good boy, Cass. Yeah. One thing I am noticing from this team though is that it seems to be like super slow. Maybe it's just me, but this run just seems to have been taking forever. You definitely want fast runs, but anything that works, like I said earlier in this video, I believe, anything that works is great. And I'd rather have a 100% team than an 80% team that does it quickly. And I just feel like I'm missing out on runes. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Namib's first skill, it does go up. The 20% chance isn't forever. I think when he's max skilled, it goes up to 50% chance. So, you got a good chance to land some dots. Oof. And Namib is down for the count. And Tyrant's down. Gonna lose this one. Oh well. It was worth a shot. Had some poor luck and things going on, and Namib was only 5 stars. I think missing a rune. Shannon's down. Boy, oh boy. But this is what I mean about the dots. You start losing units, and you still have a chance to. Still have a chance to pull it off. Oh well. times 10. Take you out, swap you back over, and we will do, okay. This is another fairly standard team. People get Theomars, you can get them from your guild battles and whatnot. A lot of people have Jasoon. Most people, even, I would say. I see people all the time. It took me forever to get her. I just got her just before Chloe, so I've been playing for, I think, 10 months without a Jasoon. I used to say, you know, she didn't make any difference, and nobody really needs her. And you don't. Definitely nobody needs to have her or anything like that. But boy, does she make life easier. Much, much easier. This is all boring crap. Now, Jasoon does help out because there's another chance at glancing hits like that. In this dungeon, her Fallen Blossoms isn't really great, except when somebody gets crit from the Giant's counter or something like that, has really low health. Maybe she can help out. But the big thing in this one is just the AoE heal. That's one of the most important things in Giants, for sure. One of the other things you can do for this team instead of Theomars, is a lot of people hate Akamamir, or Ockhammer, as we like to call him, because he hits ridiculously hard. When you're building a Giants team, the big thing is debuffs. Like you've got dots for days between Veramos and whatever Ifrit you're using. Like in the case I'm talking about now, using Akamamir. His first turn stacks dots, just like any of the Ifrits. So now you've got dots going. You got Bella for the defense break. Shannon is going to do a slow and glancing. Jasoon is going to help with that glancing. So you've got 4 different types of debuffs, and you can stack, you know, who knows how many dots. So Akamamir's third skill, I think that one's Mock Crush. I don't actually have him, but I know that skill will do a ton of damage when you start stacking some debuffs. So don't think that you need Theo or anything like that. Theo really at this point is just he's just a filler for any damage dealer. Whatever damage dealer you feel like bringing into this dungeon, you can use Sigmaris if you decided to fuse him. Yeah, just any damage dealer, doesn't matter. I prefer Theo because of what just happened. He has that endure, so he's actually, you can consider him a tanky damage dealer because he can't survive even if he's brought to 0 health. Just a little bit more safety in there, because nobody likes to lose their damage dealer. But yeah, Akamir, start stacking those debuffs, man. He can do upwards of 40,000 damage for each hit. It gets pretty crazy. Look at this garbage. But anyway, that's it for today, guys. Oh, hey, look, my magic shop refreshed. Nothing good. Alright, well that's it, guys. I'll go through and try and come up with some other beginning teams to do, and maybe even 6-star a couple of people, or at least give them better runes so I can show you that those teams aren't destined to fail like they did in this video. Anyway, have a great day. Peace out.